Have you ever realized that you're sitting across from the same person who tells you that they love you, but who also makes you feel like you're smaller in one way or another most of the time that you're together? It's a pattern of putting you down, positioning you as having done something wrong all the time, but then they still say that they love you, and it's just so confusing. The hardest part of this, nobody else sees it. Your friends all think that they're a great person. Your family likes him or her. They're kind and nice to the waiter in a restaurant. They may even remember your birthday or ask about your day when you come home. And it really could sound like they genuinely care about you. So when you go ahead and try to explain to someone that you know what's happening inside behind closed doors, you feel like you sound like you're just crazy or ungrateful, or like you're just a little kid who's making it all up just to get some attention. Yes, that is called covert narcissistic abuse, and it's designed to be invisible. But I promise you, it's the same abuse, just with more confusing packaging on the outside. Here's the difference between overt narcissism and covert narcissism. An overt narcissist is someone who demands the room. They're very loud about their superiority, and it's obvious that they need constant attention, and they're arrogant in ways that are very clear. Everybody can recognize immediately. Their behavior and the toxicity are very clearly sending out a signal that you just can't miss. On the other hand, a covert narcissist is going to do the opposite. A covert narcissist appears humble. They might seem sensitive. They might even seem insecure to you. They talk about how much they struggle, how they're a victim, how they're just so misunderstood, how hard they try, and how nobody really appreciates them. They present as very vulnerable. And while they're doing that, they're still playing the victim, this wounded, sensitive person, but they're still looking at you and systematically dismantling your confidence and your ability to trust yourself. The narcissism is still there. The need for control, the entitlement, the lack of empathy, it's all underneath. It's just hidden behind a mask of vulnerability that makes you feel guilty for doubting or questioning what they're doing. So covert abuse is quieter. It can also be passive-aggressive instead of explosive. It could be subtle insults and subtle put-downs, like rolling your eyes, like sighing at you when you make a mistake as an expression of frustration. Could be comments designed to make you question yourself instead of just aggressively attacking you, because it's covert. They might say something like, "I'm not saying you're a bad person, I'm just saying that most people wouldn't have done that." Or, "Most people can run a 10-minute mile." Or, "Most people would remember to stop and pick up cheese on their way home, like a normal person." Yes, that is gaslighting. And because it's quiet, you interpret and internalize it differently. You don't think, "Oh, it's very clear. Oh, they abused me." You don't think that it's abuse. You think, "Oh, maybe they're right. I'm just too sensitive. I'm too much for people. I'm the one with the problem. I'm the one that is the problem." In your everyday, it may look like when you might make a decision about something small, what to cook for dinner, and not running it by them. A work thing that happened, making plans with a friend. The covert narcissist doesn't argue with you directly, oftentimes. Okay? Instead, they get quiet, they withdraw, they sigh, they stop speaking to you and interacting with you, and then they'll make a comment later. "I guess you just do whatever you want to anyway." It's a deliberate reframing of your decision as selfish, so that now you're second-guessing yourself over a dinner choice that you made and apologizing for having an opinion or for having needs outside of the relationship that you have together. They might also use victim language to control you. If you might not have been listening to what they were saying because you were distracted just for 30 seconds, and then they respond to that with, "I guess I'm just not important enough for you to listen to," and then now you feel like you're guilty, like you've done something wrong, and then you go scrambling to try to prove that you care, to prove that they matter to you, when their real plan in the first place was just to shame you into compliance, into being at their beck and call all the time, because you're a tool for them. They'll also twist what you say. You might bring up something real, like maybe they haven't paid a friend back the money that they owe them, right? And instead of answering and coming up with an explanation or a plan, they might just say, so you think that I'm a bad person now? Or you're calling me a bad friend? You never said that, but you're defending yourself instead of addressing what you actually brought up. So this is called DARVO, D-A-R-V-O, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. And narcissists use it constantly. They constantly play the martyr. I do everything for you. I do everything for this family, and nobody appreciates me. Not because it's true, but because it keeps you feeling obligated to them, indebted to them, like you owe them something for simply existing in a relationship with them. They might stop talking to you. Oftentimes, they stop talking to you. No fight, no words, nothing that you can point to and say, here, this is what happened. Something you can discuss, something that you can work out, resolve together. No, they're quiet. They avoid making eye contact with you, and they don't acknowledge your existence as a person. You ask what's wrong, but then you get nothing. You ask again, still nothing. They don't explain it because explaining it would give you something to work with. And this was never about working things out. It was always about making you feel pain. And you will feel it, not as a figure of speech. Actually, researchers who study ostracism found that being frozen out lights up the same part of the brain as physical pain. The same exact region, whether you've been ignored or whether you've been physically hurt. Your body doesn't file an event like that under, oh, annoying. It files it under an actual threat. So somewhere under the panic, your nervous system runs one line on a loop. Something is wrong. I need to fix it now. And that's why you go ahead and you check your phone every few minutes or seconds. Why you reread the last text that you sent over and over again, hunting for what you did wrong, how you offended them, but you didn't do anything. There's nothing there to find. And then your body tells you to find it anyway, because being shut out, being rejected as a human being registers in our minds and bodies and souls as danger. And underneath that is something even worse than fear. It's the sense that you've stopped existing and you've stopped mattering to them. You're standing right there and you're not being seen as a person. That's the part that makes you feel like you are not a person anymore. Just like they've just switched something off, like a light switch when you leave a room. And they know this. They know that silence does something that words can't to you. It makes you chase them. It makes you apologize for things that you didn't do. Makes you perform and pretend that you're fine just to get one word back from them in return, just to get a response. And that's exactly the control. It's not the silence itself. It's what the silence makes you do to try to stop it and end it. And when they finally talk to you again, there's no explanation, no acknowledgement of what happened. The relief is so strong that it erases the question of why they did it in the first place. That relief is the hook. You never know when it's coming, so you keep trying to please the narcissist, and you keep hoping that this time is going to be different. It keeps you stuck. And it's not because you're weak. It's because your nervous system is doing exactly what it's built to do when you're frozen out. And they know it. And then the gaslighting. Oh, the gaslighting runs underneath all of it. Oh, that never happened. You're remembering it wrong. You're too sensitive. I was just joking. Over time, you stop trusting your own memory and you become dependent on them to tell you what's real. But that's like giving a thief the keys to your house or your car. It's exactly the mechanism of covert abuse. It's not one big, aggressive, loud explosion. It's emotional death by 1,000 small cuts, each one paired with reassurance. Oh, no, you're just imagining it. You're the problem. That if you were just better in some way or another, kinder, quieter, less needy, this wouldn't be happening. And because it's invisible to everybody else, you feel so alone. You can't explain it in a way that makes sense to anyone on the outside. So you stop trying. You keep it to yourself. And that isolation is exactly what the covert narcissist needs to keep the abuse going. Now, here's what healing from all this is going to require from you. First, you have to grieve something specific. Grieve your self-trust. For years, maybe decades, you were trained to question your own perception. They were the authority on reality for you. If they said it didn't happen, it didn't happen. If they said, oh, you're overreacting, you thought you were overreacting. You believed them. Not because you agreed, but because disagreeing with them cost you so much. Every time that you held your ground, you got a fight or a punishment or a put down or 3 days of the silent treatment. Every time that you backed down, the tension broke. So your body learned a shortcut. Agreement equals safety. Defer and the alarm turns off. The room becomes safe again. There are no threats. Push back though, and it's not safe for you anymore. That's the wiring that healing has to undo, not with logic. You already know logically that you were never overreacting, but you do it or you undo it with repetition. Every time you trust your own interpretation about something even small. Wait a minute, that comment was mean, it was hurtful, it was passive aggressive, and you don't let them talk you out of it. You're teaching your nervous system a new shortcut. Hey, my own perception about reality is safe to trust. Second, you have to separate the person from the pattern. The narcissist in your life probably remembers the details of your coffee order and how you take your tea. Probably even planned your birthday that you still think about. They might have even held you the week that your parent was ill and in the hospital. Those kinds of moments were real. You did not imagine the good parts. But the same person who did that for you also rewrote what happened during a fight, made you apologize for being upset, and gave you the silent treatment for 2 days or more over nothing. Both are true about the same person. Naming the pattern doesn't erase the good moments that you had together. It just puts them into context. You're not betraying what you shared by seeing clearly what else is happening at the same time. You're protecting yourself because they're so confusing. Third, you have to understand trauma bonding because that's what kept you hooked and might even still be keeping you hooked even after you were in the relationship and you left it. Trauma bonding isn't love. It's a psychological response to intermittent reinforcement. It's cruelty followed by affection, devaluation followed by love bombing. Your brain gets addicted to the unpredictability and it's so confusing. You wind up feeling like you miss them because your nervous system is literally wired to crave the next hit of their attention. Never think that that's something that makes you weak. It makes you human. It makes you someone whose own attachment system was weaponized against them for control. Healing from covert narcissistic abuse means understanding that your responses weren't failures. They were survival. You stayed because staying made sense given what your nervous system knew and how it was designed. You doubted yourself because you were systematically taught that you weren't okay. You loved them because they taught you that love looks like accepting mistreatment. You thought that love has to hurt you because it's part of a package deal, but it's not. Now you're going to learn something different. Your perception, your feelings matter. Your needs are valid and they always were. You can trust yourself even when nobody else validates what you experienced and what you went through. Who cares what other people think? You don't need it. That is healing from narcissistic abuse, from covert narcissistic abuse, not forgetting and pretending that it didn't happen, but taking back your authority to decide what's real about your own life and what you want. If you want to join me in my free online community, you'll get more help in healing from narcissistic abuse. The link is in my description below. And if you're ready for ongoing support, connect to a licensed therapist who specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy, a practical system for narcissistic abuse recovery. That link is there too. I'll see you in the next one. But remember for now, you deserve better. So much better. One more